7:06, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well. Hey, coming up at 7:35, Senate Majority Leader for the state of Tennessee, Jack Johnson, is going to join us. Of course, the government still shut down. What are we at? Are we on day, what is it, Sam, 27, 28? Do we know what day of the what day shutdown we're at? Sam is apparently getting coffee. Well, I think it's about 27, 28. But Jack Johnson is going to be joining us coming up here because SNAP benefits are going to end on November 1st. And so with the government shutdown, what is going to happen? The Democrats here in the state of Tennessee are screaming, demanding that Governor Lee call in a special session to figure out how to get people the SNAP benefits that they need. And basically, that's like food stamps, right? So we'll talk to Jack Johnson about that and a whole lot more straight ahead. That is at 7:36 right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We were talking earlier about Gavin Newsom and about he is confirming, or pretty much confirming, that he is gearing up for a run for the presidency in 2028. It was so cute. He had a apron on. He's working in a coffee house, and he's got an apron on. And he's, slinging coffee, the whole thing. And he is saying, I don't know if I'm going to run, but it's such an honor to, people are even asking me about this. And it's really silly. But the bottom line is clearly Gavin Newsom is going to be running. And one of the things that he is going to try to do, and I know this, is he's going to try to run from his very liberal past. And so I want to play for you a piece of audio that proves that Gavin Newsom, and y'all know this, I mean, you listen to this radio station. Hopefully you listen to Nashville's Morning News every single day. This is Gavin Newsom, and he's talking about how he is proud of his pro-illegal alien record. Listen.
I did universal health care when I was mayor, fully implemented, regardless of pre-existing condition, ability to pay, and regardless of your immigration status. San Francisco is the only universal health care plan for all undocumented residents in America. I'm very proud of that.
So he's very proud of the fact that he gave illegal aliens, when he was mayor of San Francisco, health benefits. And so there's no running from how progressive he actually is. So it is clear, obviously, again, that he is thinking about running. It's not really a surprise to me. And anybody who's been watching this guy for the past, many years knows that he has presidential aspirations. So the more that he talks, the more you know how liberal or how progressive he is. Now, Kamala Harris is also being equally as coy. And I'm going to play a piece of audio for you. This was actually pretty brutal because she was asked about whether or not she was going to run. And it was, but at the end of this video bite or audio bite, whatever, they tell her the odds. The interviewer asked Kamala Harris, do you know the odds and how they are not in your favor when it comes to the reality of you ever becoming president of the United States? So they asked in the context of, will your kids and grandkids ever see a female president of the United States? Listen.
When are they going to see a woman in charge in the White House?
In their lifetime, for sure.
Could it be you? Possibly. Have you made a decision yet?
No, I have not.
But you say in your book, I'm not done.
That is correct. I am not done. I have lived my entire career a life of service.
A life of service. I don't know about you, but I always find when they say, I'm serving the community, I'm serving the nation, all this kind of stuff. Well, people like Kamala Harris, they rake in millions and millions of dollars as they are serving Americans.
And it's in my bones. And there are many ways to serve. I've not decided yet what I will do in the future beyond what I am doing right now.
But you've been very clear that it's a possibility you might run again to become president. And in my experience interviewing politicians, when someone says, I'm not done, it means they are thinking seriously about running. When you look at the bookies' odds, they put you as an outsider, even behind Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I mean...
Wow. Even when you say it with that pretty British accent, that still stings. You are behind even Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. as far as the poly market goes and you actually becoming president of the United States. I mean, just right between the eyes. So let's hear what she has to say.
Is that underestimating you?
I think there are all kinds of polls that will tell you a variety of things. I've never listened to polls. If I listened to polls, I would have not run for my first office or my second office, and I certainly wouldn't be sitting here in this interview.
So there you go. You could tell that she was really ticked off. But, you know.
Never tell me the odds.
Yeah, never tell me the odds. Very good. So she's being coy. One of the things that I pointed out early on, right after she lost the last election against Donald Trump, when she said that she was going to travel the country and just listen to people, but she wasn't going to run. What she was going to do was she was going to just travel the country and just listen to people. And I laughed at it. It was so ridiculous, right? Hey, honey, pack your bags. We're going to Des Moines and New Hampshire.
It's really hard to listen to people when you've had 3 glasses of Chardonnay.
To listen to people. Well, I hear the Chardonnay is really good in Des Moines. No offense to you people in Des Moines.
Corn wine.
You know, she did say, again, that she has lived a lifetime of service, which, by the way, she has. But I love how they make it seem like it's such a burden running for and holding public office. It's like, number one, nobody has forced you to do this, Kamala Harris. Now, if she does not run, I'd be willing to bet. What do you think about this, Sam? If she runs and she's in the primary and she does as well as everybody thinks that she would do, which is lose her butt to Gavin Newsom, would she drop out and then become attorney general for a Gavin Newsom?
No.
I'm telling you.
No.
I would not surprise me if she became attorney general.
That would mean that African-American men who use marijuana need to be on high alert because she'll just throw you in prison for the heck of it.
That's exactly right. She was behind Gavin Newsom, and I've looked it up now because of that. She is behind Gavin Newsom and AOC in the poly market. So she's like, wait. And for the poly market, basically you got a bunch of people, and what they do is they have bets on who's going to be, the president, the vice president. It's just betting on political candidates and political stuff. J.D. Vance, by the way, in case you're curious. So right now, the poly market for the Democrats, Gavin Newsom's in first place. You've got AOC in there as well, but you've got Kamala Harris way down at the bottom. J.D. Vance is the clear front runner for the Republicans. Gavin Newsom, again, clear front runner for the Democrats. AOC is there. But it is so clear that there is absolutely no passion, no interest in Kamala Harris running for president of the United States. It is so clear that the Democrat Party wants nothing to do with Kamala Harris, because I think that part of what she is she is emblematic of just how bad the Biden administration was. I mean, think about it. So that's number one. Number two is that she's throwing a bunch of Democrats under the bus in her book. And so that's also part of it, where she's criticizing some very important people within the Democrat apparatus that she needs on her side to run. So I don't know if she's going to run or not, but I think she's kind of out of options. I mean, unless she can somehow, Lord help us, if Gavin Newsom ends up winning, she would have some options within a Newsom administration. And by the way, we were talking earlier about Donald Trump and should, because Steve Bannon was out there. This was late last week. Bannon said, oh, yeah, we are right now working on a situation that we could run Donald Trump for a third term. And he would win. That's what Steve Bannon says. And so every time I mention this, the super text line is flooded with people that say, no, think of the Constitution. I keep going back to, yes, the Constitution, but I also keep going to the Democrats will do it too. And somebody on the super text line said, and there's so many coming in, I lost it, but one person said, well, the Democrats, if they could do it right now, they would. Well, they didn't do it with Obama. I would just point that out. But if Trump does this, then I guarantee you it is going to be even more of an all-out war. It is 7:16. Time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather goes, it's going to be, I think the weather word of the day. Sam, you got a weather word of the day? I've got one. You got one?
Drudgy.
Drudgy? I'm going to say icky.
What?
It's just going to be icky. Cool with periods of rain. Rain can lead to poor visibility and slow travel during the morning commute. You know, cloudy and icky, I think is the best way to say it. Am I wrong on that? I can be wrong.
But the rest of the week, man, we're not going to break like the high 50s as the high of the day.
I like the cooler weather, Sam.
Do too.
I'm just one of those kind of people.
Hot beverages feel better in the cooler weather.
It's exactly right. Hey, by the way, I got to tell you, Eric Swalwell, you folks here at Eric Swalwell said. So back to the ballroom real quick, in case you're just joining us. The left, and we got CNN on here in the studio, and they are still hyperventilating over the ballroom. So Donald Trump, somebody had reported, I don't know who reported this first, but they said that Donald Trump was going to name the Grand Ballroom after himself. And this is what he said.
Well, we raised a lot. We've raised over $350 million. It's a beautiful room, a big room. I don't have any plan to call it after myself. That was fake news. Probably going to call it the Presidential Ballroom or something like that. We haven't really thought about a name yet.
Yeah, and so I think that a lot of people saying name it after Charlie Kirk. I foresee, and I said this in the 5 o'clock hour, I foresee basically depending on who the party is in charge, the name of the ballroom will probably change. I like what the president said. Let's just name it something rather generic, you know, the Presidential Ballroom. And I don't see a problem with that. But California Democrat Eric Swalwell said this on X over the weekend. Don't even think of seeking the Democratic nomination for president unless you pledge to take a wrecking ball to the Trump ballroom on day one. You know, I hate to be the I told you so guy, but telling you, I told you so. That the Democrats would tear this thing down on day one. And so it's crazy if you think about it. Because what you're going to do, you're going to have this great big ballroom. And it's going to be, you know, not only is it going to be huge, but it's going to be amazing looking. And so on day one, they are going to, it would appear, tear down the Grand Ballroom, the Presidential Ballroom, using taxpayer dollars. I want you to think about this. So the ballroom, that is through private donations. It is being built through private donations. So it costs the taxpayers nothing to put up, but the Democrats will spend taxpayer dollars on day one tearing it down. Isn't that insanity?
It's even more insane that it's coming from Swalwell.
Why is it insane coming from Swalwell?
Is he not the guy that was dating the Chinese spy?
I think they were doing more than dating, but yes.
And he's got the gall to call out President Trump.
Well, okay. So if you want to talk about the lack of self-awareness of Eric Swalwell, I mean, that's an easy putt. We could do that all day long. He has turned into Swalwell, and I think it's because when the Fang thing happened, there's nowhere to go but down. You know what I mean? In other words, you've destroyed your reputation, so you might as well just go all in on being just a conspiracy theorist, a Democrat, you know, nut job where every conspiracy theory on Donald Trump you are going to embrace and you are going to spread. And so, you know, Eric Swalwell, that really is his brand. And there's more that Eric Swalwell had to say about President Trump over the weekend. And it ties into our Daily Dan poll of the day, which is that Donald Trump has been saying that he wants to, and I'm going to tell you the full story coming up, but he's thinking that maybe he should get back the $250 million or so that he spent in legal fees when the Democrats in the Biden administration were going after him. He has spent somewhere around $450 million defending himself on all of these lawsuits, these bogus lawsuits that came his way via the Democrats. And now he is saying, you know what? Maybe I need to get some of that money back. So the media and the Democrats, everybody is so absolutely unhinged over this, and we'll talk about that and a whole lot more straight ahead. It is 7:22. Don't forget, we've got Senate Majority Leader for the state of Tennessee, Jack Johnson, is going to join us at 7:35, and the news is coming up at 7:30. Sam, what's coming up? 7:28, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hope you are doing well. Check us out online, 997WTN.com. You can find all the different places to watch us and stream us. My favorite, of course, is YouTube. All right, so Congressman Eric Swalwell out of California is leading the charge on criticizing President Trump for asking to be reimbursed for the legal fees from all of those bogus lawsuits brought by Democrats. This was on CNN.
What's your level of confidence right now that this as the East Wing of the White House is being torn down, the $230 million transfer of money to Trump will actually not happen?
Oh, I think he has every intention of doing it. You know, we have to take him at his word because he has been as awful or worse than, you know, what he promised on the campaign trail. So we have to be ready. But again, this is why elections matter. This is why being in the majority matters. And what we can do, Jacob, is to make it clear to anyone who's going to be a part of this type of corruption, get yourself familiar with the House Judiciary and House Oversight Committees, because you're going to be spending a lot of time there answering questions under oath before Congress if you're going to do these type of drug deals on behalf of the president.
So that is Eric Swalwell, and obviously not exactly a veiled threat, but they are going to, if the midterm elections, if the Democrats end up winning the House of Representatives, then they are going to go after not only Donald Trump, but everyone in Trump's orbit. And I got to tell you, it is going to be ugly. So this is why, as Eric Swalwell said, elections have consequences. This is why it is so important for the Democrats to lose the midterm elections. We'll have to see how that goes. It is 7:30 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 7:37 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Appreciate you being here on Nashville's Morning News. So, yeah, the government shutdown does continue. I want to say it's day 27 or 28. To be honest, I'm not entirely certain. Is it 27 or 28 there, Sam? Do we know? Sam's not sure.
1
either.
second.
Well, whatever it is, if it's not reopened by November 1st, then you are going to have 121,000 Middle Tennessee families lose their SNAP benefits due to the government shutdown. I want to welcome on in State Senate Majority Leader Jack Johnson. And Jack, I know that is a very daunting headline for some. Let's talk about this. The Democrats are demanding that Governor Lee have a call for a special session. And the governor, this is basically what he says. He says that, no, we won't be doing that. In a letter to the Democrats, he says Congress has a responsibility to fund the federal government. And as Governor Lee has said, it is disappointing that Democrats have chosen not to reopen the government. And so, I don't know, Jack Johnson, number one, got 121,000 people that will not be able to get their SNAP benefits, which is basically, is it anything more than food stamps? I think there's a number of different things people can get when we talk about the SNAP benefits.
Good morning, Dan. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, you're correct. It's SNAP benefits. It's women and infant children benefits, potentially some school meal programs, and some others that are going to be affected. And here's what I say to my colleagues in the Tennessee General Assembly, my Democratic colleagues. How about you call your fellow party members that are in Washington and tell them to get the government opened?
Yep.
It is Democrats who have shut down the government. It is the Schumer shutdown. And yes, almost 700,000 Tennesseans statewide are going to be impacted by this. That's how many families rely on SNAP benefits, and we want them to get those benefits that they're accustomed to getting, so they can feed their families. This is squarely at the feet of Democrats. They're playing politics with people's lives, and it's shameful. It's shameful. Republicans have passed what is referred to as a clean CR. That's a continuing resolution. This is very important, Dan. Republicans are not playing politics with this. This is they have passed a continuation of the existing budget that was put in place under the Biden administration. And yet they're holding it hostage, and Americans are going to suffer, and Tennesseans are going to suffer, and it's shameful.
Oh, remember, the Democrats have said a couple of different times now, and it's astonishing that they admit this, that this is leverage. They are using that term, leverage. And as you said, they're playing politics with people's lives. And you're right. I mean, I agree with you. We've all been talking about this. It is the Schumer shutdown or the Chuck down, as some people have said. And so part of my mantra on this has been all the Republicans want to do is reopen the government to continue the negotiation. And the Democrats, as they don't want to lose that air quote leverage, I think that they're going to hemorrhage support.
I think they are too. It is shameful, and you mentioned this. Democrats have said that Americans have not suffered enough pain, that there hasn't been enough damage done to get them the appropriate leverage. I'm paraphrasing how they've said that. Just think about how shameful that is. That you got single mothers out there with kids trying to feed their kids. You've got families, lower income families that are going to suffer as a result of the Democrats playing politics. Now, let's get to what the state can do to try to solve this. And trust me, we have looked at that. We have had conversations. We are the best fiscally managed state in America. We're the most conservative state in America. We do have surplus funds. We've got over $2 billion in our rainy day fund. However, the USDA has said that states cannot supplement state dollars to pay for these federally funded programs. If you do, you're not going to be repaid for that. So what the Democrats in Tennessee are proposing is that we take hard-earned tax dollars that have come from hardworking Tennesseans, and supplement the federal government because of their incompetence. And I don't think that the vast majority of Tennesseans want us to do that. Now, I want to encourage your listeners, this is going to impact families. I know that there are nonprofit organizations in Williamson County that I represent. There are others across the state that are gearing up to try to help these families that will be in need because of the Democrat incompetence. And so we do care about these families. We want them to get the food that they need, want them to be able to feed their families. But the answer to it is not to go into special session, take money, state tax dollars out of our rainy day fund to supplement federal programs.
Yeah, I think I've seen people talk about wanting to take money out of the rainy day fund. And again, it's like $2.15 billion that we have in there right now. But,
that's correct, $2.15 billion.
Yeah, $2.15 billion. But it's not. It is not authorized for SNAP benefits. Feed America First is in Murfreesboro, and they're one of these organizations that can help folks. The other one is the Second Harvest Food Bank. How much does the state partner with these programs and organizations to bring awareness to these organizations? And can the state, at the very least, help coordinate, these organizations with people that are going to be missing out on those SNAP benefits?
Absolutely. We partner with many of these nonprofits all across the state. In Williamson County, we have an organization called GraceWorks. We have One Gen Away. That's a food assistance organization, wonderful organization. The state does partner with these organizations. You have the Office of Faith-Based Initiatives in the governor's office that helps coordinate people who need services to find nonprofits in their respective communities to find that assistance. So feel free to reach out to your state senator's office or your state representative's office, and they can help coordinate finding you an organization that can potentially help in this situation. But I want to reiterate, it is despicable, it is shameful that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats are playing politics with people's lives. And if you should also be calling those offices in Washington and telling them, get this government opened, do the right thing. And it's not just the SNAP benefits, and I know y'all have been talking about it on 99.7. It's our military, it's furloughed federal employees. This is and by the way, it's day 27 because the shutdown began on October 1st, which is when the fiscal year for the federal government, Dan, begins. We should have a budget. In Tennessee, we pass an annual budget. that is effective for the entire year. We don't do these continuing resolutions and stopgap measures. The federal government, and I know President Trump and Republican leadership, they want to get back to regular order and go back to passing an annual budget like we used to do under Ronald Reagan and administrations prior to that. And that's where the federal government needs to get back to.
All right, I'm going to ask you, speaking of Congress, I'm going to ask you about the race for the 7th coming up next. If you can hold on. It's raining in Middle Tennessee, as you know, and we'll return after traffic here on Super Talk 99.7. 746, Nashville's Morning News. As far as your weather, cool periods of rain today. That's going to lead to some poor visibility, and appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News. Senate Majority Leader Jack Johnson is joining us. Afton Bain, who, of course, is running for the 7th Congressional District against Matt Van Epps, says that, and this is a quote, "If you think that things are going well, I'm not your candidate." Senator, you've worked with her in the state legislature. Of course, you endorsed Matt Van Epps, but do you have any thoughts as to, number one, what she said there, and number two, do you have any thoughts as to how this race is going to go?
Well, it depends on how you define going well. I think that having ICE come into Memphis, getting illegal aliens off the street who are committing crimes, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Crime has made a drastic downturn in the city of Memphis. I think that's a good thing. I think Afton Bain wants more illegals committing violent crime on our streets. Matt Van Epps will support Donald Trump and be an America First candidate and support Donald Trump's efforts to get violent illegal aliens out of our communities. So that's one example. Another would be Afton Bain is a democratic socialist. As I say, it's a polite way to say a communist. She wants universal health care for all illegal aliens. She wants a government takeover of the health care system. Matt Van Epps believes in free market principles. So it depends on how you define going well. I think we want someone to take that congressional seat and go to Congress who will support President Trump and his America First agenda. To me, that's going well, and that's why I'm supporting Matt Van Epps.
Well, and let's also not forget that she wants to dox ICE and just all of that. She was, online telling people where ICE, was when she was driving around, and she was on Instagram, I think it was. So, I mean, clearly we're all, you and ICE are on the same wavelength. Are you worried at all about low voter turnout in the general election of this special election?
I am, and we should be. And for those who live in the 7th Congressional District, I live in that district, you can pull it up online. It's easy to find the map or look at your voter registration card. But if you live in the 7th Congressional District, that special election is December 2nd, is Election Day. Early voting will lead right up to Thanksgiving. Make sure you go vote. A lot of folks, when you look at the voter turnout in the primary, it was pretty low. We've got to make sure Republicans get out and vote for Matt Van Epps. We anticipate that the Democrats are going to make a serious run at this because of that potential low voter turnout. And Afton Bain should not be taken for granted. She's a hard worker, and she can raise money, and they're going to make a hard push to try to flip that seat. And it would be a flip, Dan. It's been held by Republican Mark Green. Prior to that, it's held by Marsha Blackburn. It's been a Republican seat for a long time. It would be a tremendous victory for Democrats if they were able to sneak in a Democrat and win that. We cannot let that happen. Republicans have to get out and vote early, get it done. We got the holidays coming up. People will be traveling and have other family plans, and that's understandable, but make sure you go vote. All
right. As always, great input and perspective from State Senate Majority Leader Jack Johnson. Always great to have you on. And, we here at WTN, we are going to nag you folks in the 7th. Vote, vote, vote. It is 7:51 on Super Talk 99.7. By the way, we do have another state senator coming up. Brent Taylor out of Memphis is going to join us coming up at 8:06. He's got a big announcement to make as far as something that he is trying to do in Memphis. So we've got that update coming up from West Tennessee. And we have a news update with Sam Rutherford coming up at 8 o'clock. Sam, what do you got? 7:57, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Let's see here. Hey, listener says the Republicans literally control every branch of government. The shutdown is on the Republicans.
Hey, hate listener, do you know what you need to pass a resolution? 60 votes.
Why are people so dumb? I will say to the hate listener, you need 60 votes in the Senate, and every Republican in the Senate I believe, has voted for this, and 3 Democrats have also voted to keep or to reopen the government. So the Republicans can only do so much. Donald Trump wants the government open as well. So I think that there's a lot of people, though, Sam, believe it or not, a lot of people do ask that.
Yeah, and I think it's because we took civics out of the high school curriculum. They don't understand that that's part of the procedure. Mm-hmm. And then people go, well, it's Trump's administration. Why doesn't he just overrule them? Really? Because people are okay when Donald Trump usurps ultimate power over something? That goes over well.
Listen, they'd be calling him a king, right? So anyway, it's one of those things where you can only talk about it for so much. I mean, even John Fetterman, of course, as we've well documented here, John Fetterman is saying we need to open the government. By the way, some people are saying, this is what Tammy says. Listen, on the super text line, 615-737-9986. My heart goes out to those who will not have food stamps, who truly are in a bad situation and the temporary help. But this will force those who receive such help who could be working to possibly go out and get a job. And trust me, folks, when I say that I know that there's folks out there that are getting food stamps and SNAP benefits and all that stuff that shouldn't be getting it, I'm right there with you. I know that there's a lot of people that should be working, but instead they're living off the government, whether it's the government, the state of Tennessee, or the federal government. There are people that could be and should be working, but there are also people, because I know them, who really, truly do need that monthly help. Anyway, it is coming up on 8 o'clock. We've got State Senator Brent Taylor. He is coming up next out of Memphis right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. He's got a big announcement.